We can't see you though. We can't
Yeah.
see you though.
Oh shit. Okay, hold on. We freaking back,
I
man.
got you. I got you. I got you.
Where the claps at? Where the claps?
There you go. I clap. I did it.
I don't hear shit, man. What
You
happened to
ain't
the
hear it.
clap? The Anti Network podcast 11, I believe, or 12. We're gonna figure out which number it is, man. New Year's edition. Brother COMARK in the building, aka DR.COMARK in the building.
What's up, Anti Network? This is Marco Harrington, author of Soul Ties. Make sure you pick up the book from Amazon and Barnes and Noble.
And we got a special guest today. Y'all tell it by the resemblance. Let me get the zoom up. Y'all see the zoom up. Y'all see who that look like? Who that look like? Who that look like? Who that look like? Dr. COMARK Jr., aka Brother D in the building, man. How y'all fellas doing today?
I'm good.
That's what we love to hear. That's what we love to hear. So today, excuse me, I'm trying to move things around over here. Today is a special day. Brother COMARK said, hey, we podcasting today, and this is what we doing. The importance on fatherhood. You want to start the new year right by letting the people know how important it is to have a father, and what's more special than having a father and son on this episode. So through the video, you might see different clips of some fatherism, some fatherhoodism, as we just made this word the last video like 2 minutes in. Fatherhoodism. You know what I'm saying? And we finna show the world, what fathers look like in good action, man. We got to put love out here for the fathers.
I'm telling you, everything we need to be successful in life is supposed to come from daddy. And when daddy's not there to tell you, I'm proud of you, I believe in you, get back up, son, you can do it, it's not the same.
Brother, Dr. COMARK, man. First up on the panel, man, you got to tell the people what brought us today to this topic to say, hey, man, we got to get love to the dad today, man.
Yeah, like I tried to say in the what we probably gonna do in short takes, like we call them, beat clips or whatever. What brought us here was we was trying to do a clip before the New Year's last week, with our vets, is trying to help them see how hard it is to try to get your kids with you when you moving all across the world as veterans. It's a hard deal to take your kids with you or even get custody of them. That didn't happen. We scratched it. Didn't happen. So today, as you see, my son is on the clip.
We see him.
We trying to talk about fatherhood. Maybe even talk about how hard it is to to move through fatherhood day by day, and what it is to be a father. Period. We're not even gonna say a good father, but how difficult it is, and what it takes to be a father. Period. So just to be on here today, I brought my son. He's gonna talk about of me being a father. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it all. Bring it out to me. With a grain of salt. Wounds in my heart or whatever you want to call it. Bring it all. I'm here to listen and here to take it all in too. But starting off the New Year's, Happy New Year's to everybody here from the Anti Network. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So, the first thing I would love to talk about is the dynamic when it comes to father and son. So, I'm going to start with Brother D. Brother D, how old you is, your mommy asking?
I'm 22.
22 years old. So, 22 years old, being that you are of sperm creation from Dr. COMARK, at your age as a man, because you're technically a man by 18, how do you feel about your father, if you don't mind to speak?
I mean, I love my dad. I think my dad has given me a lot of like good like learning points and wisdom over the years, especially like recently. And I mean, I feel like our bond is kind of grown closer as I had, especially since I had joined the military and just trying to spend as much time as I can when I can. So, I mean, I wouldn't I know I wouldn't ask for a different father. Um, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's good to me.
I like that answer, man. I like that answer. By the way, thank you for your service, young brother, man. You know what I'm saying? My brother on the front line. So if y'all see him, man, send him what they call them care packages called. when you go to Iraq, the angel, what is it called, an angel care package or some shit?
They got
Uh,
all different columns.
I forgot what it's called, but
yeah.
it's a package you get when you go overseas. People will send them for you. But man, we gotta send my brother something. Appreciate your services. Definitely appreciate your services. So I would like to ask you this: as amongst your friends, do you know how many of your friends have their father around?
Um, Currently, no. I've never really like talked about it. I mean, I remember going through high school. A couple of them like had their fathers, and then some of them didn't. But it was never really like talked about much amongst us.
So, better question: what do you think is the importance of a father being in his son's life?
Um, for me, I think like a father plays a completely different role than a mother because I feel like a father like teaches you that discipline and gives you that hard love that a mom won't really give you. And it's kind of just like they they give you a different level of kind of like integrity and just how you carry yourself as a person growing up. I think it's just two different sides of the spectrum, and I feel like it benefits both, of course, to have both parents. But I think a father kind of teaches you like how to kind of like stay out of the way and just keep your head down and like be a better person.
I like that response. Dr. Comar, that came from Junior right there, man. Based on everything what he said in his response, man, how do you feel about your son at his current state, knowing he giving you your flowers and recognizing that it was very beneficial and important to have his father in the picture?
Well, I think it's a good thing. I mean, to hear it now, seeing that uh, most of his life I was overseas, back and forth, and that I was in the military, and that I wasn't always there when he probably needed me the most. And he was, in elementary and high school and middle school, and that I wasn't always at his football games or basketball games. Even though I probably taught him how to throw his football. He got his speed from me. You
Okay,
know,
okay,
I
okay.
didn't. He got that 4.3 speed from me. He probably got it from his mama too, because she ran track.
Okay, okay.
Also, but to hear that, that a father do give a lot of that discipline and integrity, which you instill into your kids, is a good thing that hear, because most people don't hear that, and that you miss that dynamic of having a father in your life. And we're not to take away from a mother's perspective, but most people don't have both parents in the household, and I wasn't there. Me and his mother wasn't in the household. I was mostly overseas, and we split up early in the life. And so it's good to hear that he still had that um, mother father aspect in his life. You know, even while I was back and forth overseas.
Hey man, but you're still around. And based on what he said,
Oh
I
yeah,
feel like man, y'all picked up the slack and got the train tracking. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a beautiful thing. So I like to ask both of y'all this question when it comes to what you guys view as fatherhood from your own personal experience. Rather, of course, you're not a father yet, brother D, but
Hmm.
you are a son of one, and you've been in an environment where you've seen fathers America. I'm pretty sure more than one occasion, especially when it comes to our complexion for the neglection. So when we talk about black people, especially when it comes to
Hmm.
fatherhood, what do you think is the biggest problem why we have the highest percentage in single parent households while fathers are not around? Brother D, in your opinion, I'd like to start with you.
Um, to me, I think the biggest problem that I've seen would honestly have to be and I don't necessarily think it's from like a parent's perspective. I think it's more so like your kids not having both sides of the spectrum and not having like the guidance that they need because At least from what I've seen, like most of the like single parent households that I've seen have like been single mothers and kind of holding like a grudge or something against the father. And
Mm.
some of those situations will be like the father does want to be in their life, but the mother kind of keeps them out, or just the dad doesn't want to be involved at all. And I think in those households, it kind of goes one or two ways. Like the kid either like tries to like prove his dad wrong, or they just kind of get off track and their life kind of just goes downhill, and their whatever parent that they have, I guess that in this instance the mother, they can't really keep them on track, and the dad isn't there to, like I said, instill that discipline and like integrity.
I got one quick question.
Mm,
What age did you realize this when you seen? Let's start with the fact when you said that some women, not all women, but
mm,
some women, when it comes to mothers, are bitter or have bad attitudes to the kid's father. I'm just curious when you start noticing this. Growing up in Texas, I believe, correct?
yeah,
So, grew up in Texas. When do you realize part of the problem? Because you said multitude, but I want to give it one
yeah.
critical one. What age did you realize that, hey, it seems like your mom is just kind of
Hmm.
showing your dad off because she got some scorn or some other issues she don't want you to be around. What age did you pick that up on? If you don't mind me asking.
I guess for me, like I kind of experienced some of it at a young age, probably going through, I want to say like elementary school time, because there have been times like as a kid, and with me being the oldest, I feel like my perspective is different than my brothers, and so like trying to be a role model for them, but also like trying to like somewhat like follow like what my parents want me to do. Um, I saw it at a young age because there were times like I wanted to like be with my dad, and he wasn't here, and I feel like around that time my mom wasn't really like, she didn't really like my dad or anything like that, and so I kind of just saw it at that age.
Mm. So to dance around that a little bit, I
Hmm.
understand you've seen it through your own life and perspectives you went through in your household.
Yeah.
When it comes to elementary, middle, high school, friends,
Hmm.
family, cousins, how often do you see this type of behavior?
Um, I actually saw it, I guess, quite often, at least going through high school, because I did have like a lot of buddies, especially guys that I played football with who didn't really have both parents. And so that's kind of when you've seen it, and or at least when I seen it with those guys like trying to do whatever they can to like stay on the right path because their father is not around.
Mm. I like that. Now I want to say something real quick, and for the people who listening, I want this to be heard clear and concise. Reason why I ask them these
Hmm.
questions because I wanted to hear from a different perspective from a child. So excuse me, from a child who turned into a man. So no, this is not to slander women, single mothers, but I think it's important where kids who grow to men, even to women, can share their experience on how they view things. Because a lot of times we discount the children experience based off the parent, i.e., the mother or the father, just know so much better. Where the
Hmm.
children points, excuse me, the voice doesn't matter. And I think it's very critical. We need to hear the children's voice, as in Dr. Comar's son, Brother D. And that's why, blah, blah, blah. That's why I asked for that answer because, again, when you can see it through your own life and you can see it through your friends and family, I think that makes it more of a conversation like, hey, so what's going on? Dr. Comar, and the light just died. I'm sorry for that. Dr. Comar, I want to take it to you and follow with the same thing. Hearing your son saying these things that came from his household growing up, especially when you and his mom's didn't work out, and now he's letting you know or explaining things in the household that held prevention from him being around you, maybe from scoring love or whatever situation may be. How do you feel about that? Just hearing that from your son at the age.
Right. So for me, it's heartbreaking, but then again, I mean, like it's eye opening because like I said, there's a lot of people going through it. I didn't see it in my household growing up as a kid, but I fought through it, and we went back and forth for a long time, and I did it too again with my baby mama with my oldest daughter too. Um, and a lot of parents, a lot of kids go through it and still go through it through the day. It's not a thing that's not going to continue to happen. But me and his mom is on good terms now, and we talk a lot. For their sake now, going through like the two younger kids, his brothers, are in college, and we talk a lot. But from his standpoint, knowing that he saw it, and I don't think it was a time. I think when he remembered, I don't know if he remembered it, when we actually split up. When he actually asked me, could he come stay with me? And at the time, I wish I could have, took him with me, but I knew I was getting ready to go to Iraq, and I felt like, as a father, that I failed him at the time and I still feel like I failed him because I knew I couldn't take him with me because I knew I was getting ready to go to Iraq, and I went 2 tours back to back, so um, it was heartbreaking to me knowing that I would probably go through it over and over because I knew a lot of my friends who was going through it, and so it just kind of hurt to see it over and over, and to see that my middle son went through it, and then his younger brother went through it, and every time that I would ask or try to go get them, that I would see it over and over, and it hurt me a lot, but I knew that at some point in time that they would see that me as a father, um, I would continue to push through it and get to this point where like me and him talk mostly what on a daily basis, um,
Yeah.
so that we that bond will probably get stronger. So it phased me at the time, but now I think they see it more and more.
To hear your son say this now and express his feelings over something that happened a few years ago, is this a conversation you already had, or do you think some parts of what he's saying now is new, or you guys already rekindled the misunderstanding that came from back in the day?
We've never had this conversation. We never talked about it, and I don't think that's a conversation that me as a father should ever bring up. About their mother, about what happened then. I don't think we should open up wounds that he had. I mean, if they want to bring it to me, um, I mean, I don't think me and him had this conversation. I think I had it with his younger brother Jamari, but I don't think me and him has ever had this conversation. But I think our bond um, is strong because we have a strong bond about sports and the military. So I think that was probably the eye opener for us to get closer. But we've never had a conversation about what happened long, long time ago with me and his mother.
Well, I want to be clear again. I don't want to have the focus so much on his mom because I don't want it to seem like we point fingers at her. I kind of
Right,
want to
right. I just
concentrate.
understand that.
Yeah, I want to concentrate around the emotional part about it because I think that's the most important. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
asked a question. Was this the first time you hear your son speak in this manner? And I asked that because when I'm hearing him and I'm hearing you, I hear both of you guys' sides, but also I hear more like a disconnect just based on the time that things happen. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that being that we're talking about this, I said, man, this is kind of interesting to hear from a father and son aspect, especially to display in front of the world. I think that's very critical. So once again, while going this is not to slander no woman. This ain't a slander
Mm-hmm.
his kid's mom. We're just talking about the importance and the emotional detachment that could happen, or the trauma, or excuse me, or the problems or traumatizations that come behind being fatherless at times. So I think it's very critical. So again, being that we here in this conversation, you heard your son give his opinion on it. Father, you gave your opinion on it. For people who have related stories or somewhere near the line to where they can say, damn, this sounds like me. This sounds like me and my son or my daughter. As a father,
Mm-hmm.
what suggestions do you have if you think if any could help better a situation to lead to a better fatherhood for that child?
You know, we always gonna go back to communication. You know, as they get older, they're gonna see that if you never gave up on them, you never gave up on, you know, yourself. As long as they see you doing better, regardless of whether you have other kids, whether you have, you know, you have a better life, whether you paying child support, whether you doing anything, the key is always going to be communication and the steps you made toward them when they get older, you know, 18, 19, 20, whatever the case may be. As long as you make a step forward to say, hey, you know, what are you doing in your life? You know, the key is always going to be like, hey, let me see you do this. Let me see you, you know, better yourself in that. And if you make that effort to say, hey, I've always wanted to be in your life, always, you know, I think that's the key. You don't have to slander their mother name. You don't have to slander anybody's name. The key is always going to say, hey, I've always tried to be in your life. I've always did this. It don't have to be with money. It don't have to be with um, anything like that. You can, you know, like me and him the other day wanted to go to a hockey game, and I said like, you know, me and my father, you know, well, he was in my life, but we didn't go to hockey games, we didn't go to football games, just trying to commit, you know, create those memories that you weren't able to have is, you know, the big key that you're trying to do. That right there won't back up all the trauma that maybe was created, but at least it helps y'all move forward in y'all life. That's the key.